Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to The Last Word outside of Huddersfield. The stadium is just behind this little retail park. I've just come out of the McAlpine, the John Smiths, or I don't even know what it's called nowadays. It keeps getting renamed, but Newcastle United U21's have been absolutely smashed. They conceded 6 goals this evening. Embarrassing. Shocking display and signs that you have to be worried about the under-21s. So welcome everybody, this is The Last Word, let's get going. Yes, hello everyone. So we cover the women's, the under-21s and the men's first team. Sometimes we'll switch them around on NFTV Extra, our sister channel, but this is going to go on the main because of the manner of the defeat. The under-21s, let's talk about it. Obviously with a few players that have headed out. Garang Kowal got his move to Sparta Prague, that's permanent. Trevan Sanusi's joined Lorient on loan, and Travas Hernandez has gone to Groningen in the Eredivisie. And Sanusi missed it tonight. I mean, he carries the team, in my opinion. I maybe saying that a little bit harsh because of, obviously, that's on my mind, conceding 6 goals. But you can see he gets Newcastle United up that pitch. And look, we are playing against a side that have won 4 out of 6 league games. Huddersfield are on the hunt for getting back into the Championship. But let's take a look at the lineup. So the key that everyone's probably wanting to know is how did Pivas get on? Moidrag Pivas, who's playing in the 3 centre-backs. Newcastle went with 5 at the back. And obviously he was loaned out last season from Willem II. And we signed him last summer, if you remember. And of course, how would Park Seung-soo get on playing left wing? And of course, Geordie boy Shawn Neve. More on them very shortly. So they're the ones that probably don't see many of the under-21s are probably going to ask those questions. We'll come back to them later. But look, in terms of the actual game itself, Newcastle United were just absolutely appalling. They were getting absolutely battered. Up the town indeed. Says he's very happy seeing his Huddersfield side put 6 past her. I mean, look, if it was the men's, I'd be a lot more furious than that. Really worrying. I mean, firstly, the goals that were conceded, if you haven't seen them, get the opportunity to have a look. You may have to visit Huddersfield for them, but the manner of where the Newcastle conceded them, having given away a penalty was soft. That wasn't a penalty. Do you know what? It was the lack of... They were worried. The defenders, Charlie MacArthur, Heffernan, Pivas, Thompson, right wing back, Charlton defensively. I actually thought Charlton going forward was actually alright. He's got something about him for me at left back. And he obviously scored later on as well. But defensively, the midfield protecting, there was sloppy. Alfie Harrison wasn't great. He gave away a goal. There was just numerous of defending issues from the midfield and defence where they were sloppy, they were backing off, they were giving the ball away. It was too easy for Huddersfield running past them, man. You cannot do that. And all the goals that you conceded, you'd probably say all 5 or 6. I mean, the first one, 5 yards out, you can't let someone have a header from 5 yards out, man, and score. Just sloppy all round, man. Really, really poor. I felt for Harrison, Adam Harrison. Got to remember that. There's a lot of Thompsons, a lot of Harrisons in this under-21 side. So Adam Harrison's the goalkeeper. Alfie Harrison, by the way, I think he was poor. And again, some fans might want to know how he did. I thought he was poor. He's a long way off the first team for me. I know he's been involved with Eddie Howe, but I think that's just down to injuries. And we'll talk about the Newcastle 2 goals in a minute, but Adam Lawrence has just been appointed the new under-21 manager because Robbie Stockdale had the helm at the start of the season, and he's just come in from Manchester United and he started the 1st of September, and this is his first game, and he's just seen 6 go past him. Look, we're against a men's team, you have to remember that, but the manner of the goals that went in, and you have to look at that and think, if this is League One, and I'm talking about earlier this season, because this is my 4th under-21 game this season, it's worrying the amount of goals that they're shipping in. And now I know the under-21s is about player development, but almost every single one of those players that played tonight are not at League One standard. I know you can develop them, the likes of Park and so on. The only player who comes out of any credit tonight is any 21 lad, Shawn Neve, once again. Now, when Newcastle scored, It was at the end of that first half to make it 2-1. I think, right, you're back in it. It was, I think Scott Bailey, because we were at the other end, the Toon fans, Scott Bailey has a shot, it takes a massive deflection. I think Shawn Neve just sticks something out and he ricochets off him and it goes into the back of the net. And then you 2-1. But you're not concentrating. You're the most vulnerable when you've scored. And Newcastle concedes straight away. And it's 3-1 doing at half time. Poor. And then they concede straight away. Alfie Howson gives the ball away. It's 4-1. And then it's 5. And then it was 6-1. It was just embarrassing. But the goal that we scored, Shawn Neve deserves a lot of credit. Good interplay in midfield. He's played through down that right. He holds off the defender quite strong because Shawn Neve's quite a thin frame. He does so well. He's strong. He cuts the ball back. And there's Charlton left back to score. As I say, I thought he was okay. But defensively, questions around all of the defence. I thought Thompson was poor. Pivas, let's talk about him. I thought he was shocking. He was subbed off well before the hour mark. He was appalling. And you worry about the foreign talent that we're signing abroad. Are there any better than what we've got at home? Heffernan wasn't great. As I say, Thompson wasn't great. MacArthur wasn't great. Harrison, obviously the goalkeeper Harrison had 3 or 4 saves to make as well. It was just appalling, man. It was poor and it lacked a lot of quality. Obviously there's no Munda playing in that centre midfield tonight. He wasn't available. Park Sing-soo, let's talk about him. Defensively offered nothing at all. And it's not the first time I've said that. He's been poor. I've seen him now 7 times, if it includes the Asia tour of the first team, the cameo appearances, the Cellar Cup, and now the under-21s. That's 7 times I've seen him live. In flashes, he's looked good for the first team, but the under-21s, he's off the pace for me. Good defensively. In spells, he looks all right, but for me, he has to have time to bed in. He doesn't speak the language great, whereas Pivas does speak a bit of English. But Park Sing-soo probably needs time to bed in to get to know his teammates, the life of England effectively, and British football, and settling in and getting to learn and his role of the teammates. So I don't want to be too harsh on him, but he hasn't set the world alight for me in the under-21s, and that may come as a surprise for some years who are just casual watchers of the under-21s, because in Korea he was bright. He had that cameo appearance, 1 or 2, that he looked really, really sharp. But yeah, and maybe I am coming a bit harsh, but from what I can say, I can only tell you how I really feel, how I see things. But as I say, Shawn Neve's the one who comes out with this with massive credit. Again, he's scoring goals, and you ask the question, then if he goes on to have a fantastic season, because obviously Ben Parkinson, you would think that he'll come back in. I don't know what's happening with him at the minute. There's no word from the club if he's injured. He has to be injured. And obviously they've lost Garan Kowal, who would have normally played out on the left, and Sanusi on the right. And Fitzgerald wasn't available, the Irish winger either. He wasn't available. Now he brings a bit of creativity. But Shawn Neve's the only one who has credit. If we did score in the players, for example, tonight, I'm telling you, nearly every single player would struggle to get a 4. That's how bad Newcastle were tonight. Shawn Neve would get an 8. That's the difference. Shawn Neve was brilliant, and if he keeps scoring goals, he may get a loan out in January. So we'll see how he develops, because it's not the first time I've been impressed with him. Just, you know what he is? He's a fox in the box. That's what he is. Old school striker that he sniffs its little chances and stuff like that. Even today, when he just gets a ricochet, that's what goal scorers do. You might not see him for 20 minutes, but then bang, he scores you a goal. That's the type of player that he can bring, and he's got a little bit of pace about him as well. He can play on the counter. So yeah, Shawn Neve. But look, Adam Lawrence has just came in. He's got a lot of work to do with this under 21s, and out of everyone who's in that who played tonight, they're not at League One standard. And I look at that squad and think, even Max Thompson wasn't available, who was playing goal. He's only played 1 off the top of my head. If they want to have careers away from Newcastle United, again, and I'll take it by just how many games I've been to so far, and I'll probably come back to this later on the season, but there isn't many that's going to play at a high standard, because we've just let Sanusi, for me, who's at Lorient, has a fantastic opportunity to go and impress. I think Hernandez will eventually be left to go. His loan to Groningen the option is there to then make that permanent. Obviously, Garan Kowal's not going to make it. He's been let go by the club because I think it's about $500,000 that Newcastle have got for him. So hopefully Sanusi has a fantastic time in France. I'm sure he will. He's too good for the under-21s, and that's why he's got his move away, and I'm delighted for him. I really am. I think I don't want to be over the top with him, but I think he can go far. I really do. But going back to the attendance was officially over 1,000. There wasn't over 1,000 in there. Definitely not. There was about 100 Newcastle fans in there, and I would probably say about 300 Huddersfield. It got the point where the game was dead, and it become boring. Even for the home fan, it just wasn't competitive. It felt like a friendly, and that's a trophy at the end of the campaign, and obviously the league phase at the moment, and then you get on to the knockouts and stuff. But Newcastle don't have an elite academy. It's as simple as that, whereas the likes of Manchester City and Chelsea do. And Chelsea absolutely hammered our under-21s just a couple of weeks ago. 5 now? I was at 5 now. And it got the point where both sets of crowd, the fans were just, it got the point where just winding each other a little bit. Where's your Isaac at? And singing about Leeds back to them, and they were singing Newcastle fans to start the other fans off. All I was waiting for was a Mexican wave to get going, because they were bored. It's just, ugh. But there we go, everyone. And yeah, if you like the content, remember we'll bring you under-21s, the women's, and the men's as well. This is my 19th game already so far since pre-season, and of course we've got the 2 non-league teams, North Shields and Wrighton, which we'll cover also on extra. But there you go. It looks like I'm in the team value, doesn't it? But I'm not. I do promise you. You've seen by the B-roll pictures that have been here. They need to shit show. Absolute fucking shit show. Appalling. Absolute appalling. 6-2. They got beat the other night. The goals are just comical. And it's alarming, because even Huddersfield fans were singing "This is your future," and none of them are getting in the first team. Maybe 1 or 2, and that's Shawn Neve's definitely one of them. He's gonna make a few appearances with Newcastle. Maybe gets a loan, as I say. But I'm going back on. Drop us a massive like. Hope you've enjoyed the content. Remember, we'll switch the under-21s over to our sister channel. Sometimes this one's similar to what we do for the women. But yeah, I didn't want to talk about Isaac. I didn't want to talk about his statement, the chat GGP, whatever it's called. That we don't use that. We use Copilot better. I didn't want to bring out that. You're sick of it. I don't want journalists talking about it. There's a certain journalist who wants to keep bringing it up. Forget about it. Move on from it. We've got Isaac at the door now. Let's focus on what we have. Obviously, the international break now at the minute, and obviously the Newcastle United Women campaign starts on Sunday, which I'll be there in the press media, bringing you coverage for that as well. So, yeah, never stops on NFTV, you know that. But yeah, I better get myself home. Ferdinand's in the car, which is right there. So he's looking outside the window and he wants me to hurry up and finish up, because he wants some food. But yeah, love yous and leave yous, everyone. Watch what it's a day. Ta-da.